Hello everyone, it is Evan from the Trade Risk, Tuesday, March 17th here for some trade ideas. I'm going to briefly talk about the indices and where we are, but I want to keep this video primarily actionable trade ideas. I got some on the long side and on the short side today. Tomorrow, I will go ahead and do a full market analysis video across sectors, markets, individual names, and so on. So for now, let's look at the action today. The bulls really saved a session that could have been pretty ugly. Yesterday we had a nice expansion bar, closed on the highs. Today we came in gapping lower, probing the lows. We got just under 207 today before the bulls stepped up and basically proceeded to rally us all the way back to flat on the day. And then we ended up closing a little bit off of the highs. So really the range we need to have on watch here is 204.50 to 209. 204.50 is the lows from last week, and 209 is a pretty significant level. This was basically the highs from this previous range that we were in. It also acted as support here briefly as we were breaking out above that range, and now that's what the bulls need to reclaim. It's, you know, the bullish outlook here is that this impulse leg that we had from February all the way from 198 all the way to 212 has now just retraced about 40% of that move. And now if we can get back above 209 and continue on, that trend looks to be very healthy, very intact, and that would be very bullish behavior. On the other side, if this is some type of false breakout, we fail at 209, and then we end up taking out these 204.50 lows, that sets us up into a situation where we're going to head back down and potentially retest or even break below 199. I'm not predicting that's going to happen. I don't even necessarily think it's going to happen, but those are the two scenarios essentially that we need to be on watch for. So, if we look at the IWM, for example, this market is all the way, this was a new closing high today for the small cap index. So it's tough to get overly bearish when you have an index like this already making new highs. The Qs also had a nice continuation day to the upside today. And the Qs, the picture here is really a nice impulse leg from $100 all the way just shy of 110, and then we came back down, retraced 40% of the move, retested the breakout level, and now we're trying to continue higher here. So heading into the FOMC minutes tomorrow, it puts us in an interesting situation because this could be a catalyst to either continue this move and basically get us back to the highs in such the case as the S&P or even the Qs to continue this uptrend back to the previous highs, or it could be a catalyst to slam back down and retest the lows we made from yesterday, or it could just be a non-event. But we'll have to wait and see. The takeaway out of this video is really just trade ideas to have on watch depending on which way this market tips after tomorrow's event. So let's get into some trade ideas now. Keys is the first one, Keys. This is a name I'm actually involved in. We got involved in it yesterday on this bar here, and it had some nice continuation today. This is a new all-time closing high. It's a recent IPO. It's a small cap name, so it's not too overly extended. It looks like it could continue here. Take a look at a weekly chart. You can see put in a nice 4-week consolidation, and now it looks like it's trying to continue higher. So this one looks good. Keep that one on watch. eBay is the next one. If we look at a weekly chart of eBay, you can see this range that it was been in since 2013, very orderly, and we just recently broke above it. 57.50 was the breakout level I was watching. You can see we got above it, consolidated on top of resistance, broke higher, and now we're consolidating again. So this has been holding up real well given the market weakness that we've had over the past couple of weeks. So I think $60, this will get this one back in motion. So if we can get eBay above $60, this is a name that I would potentially be involved in for this leg to continue higher. I like the way it looks. Next, ARMK. So restaurant name, another recent IPO, fairly recent IPO. Yeah, back at the basically 2014 January is when it came public. It's failed here back at the beginning of 2015, the beginning of this year. It failed here right around 32.50. It is now back to these highs here, and it's basing just underneath, respecting this $32.50 level. So keep it on watch. Looks like above here could get a nice leg higher there. So It's been outperforming nicely, staying strong under resistance, so it's something you want to have your eyes on. Next is AVOL, another IPO. I think I got just a lot of recent IPOs in today's long trade signals. AVOL, this one just recently, beginning of this month, broke above some pretty significant $1980 resistance. Had a very nice push, quick $3 push to the upside, and now it's hanging out here. It's starting to rest, consolidate, flag lower. You can see the tails coming in here as prices gets below 21.25. So this one isn't quite ready yet, but it's something you want to have on watch. Above $22, above $21.90, right around this area here. It looks like it could set this one back in motion. Next is DGI. This one recently had a really nice pop here above a pretty significant level. Take a look on this daily chart zoomed out here. You can see basically for an entire year was being contained under $32, $31.80 or so. And then just beginning of March to kick off the month, or actually no, it was the last day of February 27th, last trading day of February, had a real explosive move, broke above this year-long resistance, and had a little bit of continuation. Now it is flagging out. So $35, that should get it back in motion. I'll be watching that level over the next couple of days. And finally, TERP. If you look at a weekly chart of TERP, again, it's another recent IPO. $35 is the all-time high levels on it. We are basically consolidating right underneath $35. You can see it poked its head up today, outperformed nicely today. It was up a percent. Didn't quite, I was eyeing this for a potential signal. I didn't take it. Didn't quite give me enough here above this sort of cluster of highs here. I'd like to see it convincingly get above $35, close with a little more authority, given the event tomorrow that could have some volatility in these markets. I want to see, I took a pass today on it, and let's see how it acts tomorrow. Could be one that I jump into. Now on the short side, I got a few names here. First is Lock, L-O-C-K. This one's been beaten up recently. Basically came into the year with this really horrible looking bar here. This big sell bar. I don't know if this was, I'm assuming some catalyst came in here on to kick off the year, and this has really been controlling price action. It set in motion this downtrend that it continues to be in. It did outperform today, but you can see here it is kind of hanging very tight, struggling on the lows here. 1310, that could be a pretty actionable short level to have on watch if it can start breaking down. FOSL, FOSL. Similar camp here, right? This has been in a strong downtrend. This 218 on February 18th, not sure what this event was, but this downside gap is controlling price action now. It tried to, it put in a really weak attempt at trying to fill some of that gap. It didn't get too far. It rolled back over. Now it's back to these event lows here. So $80, again, this one outperformed nicely today too, but below $80, this one could be in trouble and could see some further prices to the downside. Next is LVS. Casinos have been getting pretty hammered over the past many months now, 6 months, 12 months. This one closed again. This one was actually green today as well, but you can see 51.30. These are the lows here. We briefly were down here at the end of 2014. We're back basically to them now in March. So see if these lows get tested again, 51.30 or so. That could be another actionable short. I know the casinos have been pretty beaten up. They might be close to potentially bottoming out on a longer term chart, but weak tends to stay weak, get weaker. So 51.30 for you momentum bears, that's a good one to have on watch. Finally is Baidu, BIDU. 203 is a pretty important level here. The market's been kind of grinding, being very stubborn to get back above this level. We were back down here at the end of February. We had a nice little bounce. That bounce was given up, and now we're back to these lows, and we're just hovering on top of 203. So I think if you can see some continuation basically below today's lows, I think you could have a nice washout here in Baidu. So let's have that one on watch if this market decides to turn and Baidu decides to break lower. So that's all I have for today. A couple of ideas both on the long and short side. So I'll be back tomorrow with a market analysis video. If you have any stocks or names that you want me to cover in tomorrow's video, please do send them my way. Just send me on Twitter, StockTwits. I'll be happy to cover them tomorrow. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.